Hi, my name is King Sandoval. I'm a senior here at the University of Maryland, and I am majoring in architecture. Going into the tournament, obviously my ultimate goal was to win it and become world team member. Still haven't become a world team member yet, and I just turned 21, so I'm still young. There's still plenty of time. Before the tournament, I was really nervous. Coming in, I was actually supposed to be the 6th seed. I was going to be seeded dead last, so that really put a chip on my shoulder that I needed to overcompete and really outperform everybody out there. Compared to the result where I finished at the end of the tournament, I ended up taking 3rd. Obviously, it wasn't what I wanted. When I lost in the semifinals, I was pretty upset. But for my first senior level tournament, it did not go as bad as I thought it was going to go. And 3rd is definitely nothing to be disappointed about. You know what they say, if you lose in a tournament, getting the next best thing, you don't just give up after that. So that was definitely really good for me to come back and fight back for 3rd place.
COVID threw a wrench into our training for this year. King was supposed to wrestle at U23s last year because he took 3rd in Greco at U23s, and they moved it to a time that he could not compete in it. So we were looking forward to King's first tournament at the senior level. Goals for the tournament, of course, are to win, but I think more important than winning the tournament was gaining confidence at this level. King's 4th place finish showed that he really belongs at the senior level, and he took that confidence into his training for the World Team Trials and parlayed that into a 3rd place finish that put him on the national team.
Going into the tournament, I did not feel underprepared at all. I felt like my cardio, my conditioning was really well. I can give a lot of thanks to my coaches at Maryland for that. Over the summer, unfortunately, we were doing nothing but folk style, which was a huge impact on how I competed at the World Team Trials. And it actually made it a bit harder because I wasn't getting as much repetitions as I should be. I have to give out a huge thanks to my coach Jay and my assistant coach Elijah Oliver as well, because they were the ones really helping me get into the rhythm of getting back into Greco as the summer started to conclude and as we came closer to the competition. So ultimately, I don't feel like I was underprepared. I would have liked to have practiced and gotten more repetitions in Greco-Roman leading up to the competition. At least another month's worth. I think that would have impacted my performance a lot better, but based on the result at the end, I feel like I was very prepared, especially mentally and physically in terms of conditioning, and I was ready to fight for everything when it came down to the line. My dad influenced and impacted me a lot throughout the course of preparing me for the World Team Trials, as well as just teaching me and helping me learn and grow throughout my childhood in the sport of wrestling Greco-Roman.
I learned my Greco-Roman wrestling from Edward Yarovinsky. He was a Russian defector. He was a 10-time Soviet champion, but he was Jewish, and they would not allow him to join the Communist Party. And because he couldn't join the Communist Party, he couldn't leave the Soviet Union. So he never got an opportunity to wrestle in World Championships or Olympic Championships.
The one thing that sticks with me the most that he has really pitched throughout the course of my childhood is repetition. You can know a move inside and out, but you have to get the reps inside and constantly get that through and just keep on getting the repetitions with no matter what it be. It could be Greco-Roman, it could be normal wrestling. If you do a move and you're good at it, you do it 5 times, you're most likely not going to try it in a match. But he always tries to tell me I have to do a move 1,200 times before I'm actually ready to try it in a match. And I think that really helped impact my performance at the World Team Trials. it really helped me get a lot sharper and try to narrow down the little problems and tighten things up before I actually competed. And it definitely helped me on my performance altogether.
Two blue. We're done.
The first time that he left, was allowed to leave the Soviet Union with his wife and his son as a coach, he defected to the United States, and the State Department put him in the Midwest where I lived, and I trained under him for a number of months, and that's where I learned my Greco. And I taught King in the Russian way. The Russian way that they learn Greco-Roman is how I taught King.
Most of the repetitions were coming from throwing dummies. We have 3 or 4 throwing dummies at my house, and after our folk style practices in the summer, I would go home and I would just get reps in. No matter it be like 100, 200, 300, you have to just constantly beat your craft, get tighter, get the technique down, but also as you're developing your technique, you also have to impact the speed and everything else that goes into the move, so that also helps before you actually start to compete. So I feel like that had a huge influence on the way that I performed.